So Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are making certain legend stories canon. Stuff like Mara Jade and a lot of other things are becoming canon right in front of our eyes, as well as confirmed for future Star Wars projects. Now look, I've repeatedly said on this channel, on other channels, anywhere I go whenever Legends is brought up, that I'm not the biggest Legends guy. And it's not the fact that I don't like Legends, because every single time I read a piece of Legends content, it's usually recommended to me by someone, so I know that a lot of Legends content out there isn't so good. But every single time that I've read a piece of Legends content because it's been recommended by someone else, I've been absolutely blown away by the storytelling. It's great stories, and a lot of characters that we know and love get put in great situations to really shine, and it really brings out the best in their characters. People like Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, Lando, all these characters that we know and love that we wanted to see more of when it came to the sequel trilogy. I hate to bring that in, but the characters that we wanted to see more of, the characters that we really wanted to see shine in Star Wars for the sequel trilogy, they really shine in Legends. So I would love to see more Legends content, but I know that there's a lot of Legends content out there that's just not so good. But Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni know the Legends content that's not so good, and they know the Legends content that people absolutely love, that people absolutely eat up. Stuff like Mara Jade and a lot of other stuff as well coming very soon. Even stuff in Rogue Squadron, the Patty Jenkins movie coming up, is gonna bring in a lot of Legends material. Patty Jenkins actually revealed that, and a lot of people haven't seen that yet. A lot of people aren't talking about that yet, but Patty Jenkins is planning on putting a lot of Legends content into her new movie, Rogue Squadron, a movie that a lot of people were very worried about whenever Patty Jenkins came out with Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman, the first one, wasn't too bad. I thought it was pretty good, actually, especially for a DC movie. At the time, I wasn't too big of a fan of DC movies. They had been pretty lackluster other than a couple of them, but at the time, I thought that Wonder Woman was actually a pretty good movie. So whenever Patty Jenkins was first announced to be doing Rogue Squadron, I don't really love the concept of Rogue Squadron as much as a lot of other people do. People like my boy X-Wing, shout out to X-Wing, he really loves the concept of Rogue Squadron for obvious reasons. He might be a little bit biased, but he loves the concept of Rogue Squadron as well as a lot of other people do. I'm not that type of guy. I'm the type of guy that wants to see Force users, lightsabers. That's Star Wars to me. I want to see the Force and lightsabers being used. But when I saw Patty Jenkins was attached to it, and when I saw that she had a deep connection to fighter pilots because of her father, and also she knows what it feels like to be inside of fighter pilots. She knows how to make it really feel like the audience is inside the fighter pilot, kind of reminiscent of that chase scene in The Force Awakens. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that chase scene, the Millennium Falcon chase scene in The Force Awakens, is a top 5, maybe even a top 2 or top 1 chase scene in all of cinema history. It's a great chase scene. Say what you want about the sequel trilogy, but that chase scene is very, very good. One of my favorites of all time, if not my favorite. But whenever it comes to the content that's going to be inside of Rogue Squadron, we've been kind of in the dark. We don't even know when the time period is going to be. We don't know the cast. We don't know the storyline. We really know nothing about this movie, but recently Patty Jenkins has come out and said something that aligns with what a lot of people have been saying about the future of Star Wars, with what a lot of people have been saying about the future for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, what they plan to do with Star Wars in the future. As you can see right here, new Star Wars Legends stories are officially joining canon. We've known that this is happening for a long time. We see it in stuff like The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are bringing these legend stories into canon without directly doing it. They're not directly saying, hey, that book is canon now. They're not doing that. They're bringing Cobb Vanth into canon. They're doing little things like that to let us know that this stuff is coming. This stuff that people know and love from these legend stories, they're coming into canon. We're going to see them in live action. We're going to see them in animation. They are coming. And Dave Filoni being the head of creative direction at Lucasfilm now just shows that they're going in that direction. And you know that Dave Filoni wants to do that, and pretty much all the content that he's ever made for Star Wars, he's tried to bring that Legends content into canon. And whenever you have Patty Jenkins coming out and saying what she said about her movie, which I'll show you in 1 second, and Dave Filoni, like I said, is the head of creative direction at Lucasfilm now, you know he's going to be overseeing the writing of this script, the casting, the storyline. He's going to be overseeing this because he's the head of creative direction at Lucasfilm, or at least for Star Wars. I don't know if it's for all of Lucasfilm. It would make more sense if it was just Star Wars. But let's check out what this article has to say. Like I said, the headline is new Star Wars Legends stories are officially joining canon, and I'll show you some other stories that are officially joining canon as well, or maybe not officially, but heavily rumored, heavily speculated, and it's kind of obvious that they are going to become canon. If you just look at the facts, they're going to become canon. Stuff like Mara Jade, other things like that, it's becoming canon. It's 100% becoming canon. When Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy announced that the next Star Wars feature film, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, at the 2020 Disney Investor event, we weren't given many details about what to expect from the movie other than the fact that Jenkins' official tweet about the Star Wars project featured a video of her at an airfield teasing the starfighter pilots who would appear in the Star Wars movie. The daughter of a fighter pilot, Jenkins, Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84, I Am the Knight, has said that she wants her entry into the Star Wars story to be the greatest fighter pilot movie of all time. And we know that in Legends, like I said, I'm not the biggest Legends guy, but I know enough to know that there's very good stories in there about fighter pilots, about X-Wings, about other kinds of pilots as well. We know this. It's there already. It's in old video games, which she talks about even later on in this article. Let's check it out. Jenkins certainly has her work cut out for her, given the general divisive nature of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. Now that the Skywalker saga is over, however, Rogue Squadron has the ability to take the Star Wars franchise in an entirely new direction, and it seems as though that is exactly what Jenkins is planning to do. Now, what she says right here is actually pretty reassuring, because we know that Leslie Headland, the one that's making the Acolyte series, kind of said the opposite of what she's about to say right here. We're finishing a script, crewing up, and it's all going wonderful. I'm so excited about the story and excited that we are the next chapter of Star Wars, which is such a responsibility and such an opportunity to really start some new things. It's really exciting in that way. So she knows how big of a responsibility this is. Not only is it very exciting, not only is it a power trip for you like it is for Leslie Headland to put all this agenda stuff in there like we already know that she's going to do. She made that clear with the comments that she's made before on her new show coming up, The Acolyte, like I said, but she didn't seem to think that it was that much of a responsibility to carry Star Wars into the future. She didn't seem to think that it was that much of a responsibility to stay true to the old characters, to stay true to the old George Lucas Star Wars. You can tell that Patty Jenkins has it in the back of her mind that if she doesn't do this right, that if she messes this up, if she doesn't stay true to Star Wars, the fans will come after her, and she might even not have a career after this. Her career might take a big hit if she doesn't do this in the right way. It seems like she knows that because she said it's such a responsibility. I love that she said that. That really reassures me for her movie, as well as the fact that we got the announcement the other day that she's not actually going to be writing this movie. We got the announcement for the head writer of the movie the other day. I forgot the guy's name, but just the fact that she is not the head writer for the movie is very reassuring, because that was everyone's main concern after seeing Wonder Woman 84, because like I said, Wonder Woman 1, the first one that she came out with, was pretty damn good in my opinion. I liked it a lot. The only difference between Wonder Woman 84 and the first one is that Patty Jenkins was a writer for 84. So it would be obviously concerning if we saw Patty Jenkins writing for her Star Wars movie after her writing seemingly kind of tanked the Wonder Woman franchise with that Wonder Woman 84 movie. I didn't like that at all. But here she says the stuff about the Legends content being brought into Rogue Squadron. We're doing something original with the great influence from the games and the books. There's a lot of things being acknowledged and understood about the greatness of all of those things, but yes, it's an original story, and I'm so psyched to do it. I am so happy that she is saying stuff like this. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. This is actually reassuring me so much for my excitement for this movie. It's making me so much more excited that she's actually paying homage to the stuff that came before. The stuff like the games, the old 1998 Nintendo 64 game. She mentioned that. The fact that she's mentioning stuff like that, the fact that she even knows that this stuff exists, sets her apart from Leslie Headland, because we know that Leslie Headland doesn't know that Legends exist. She couldn't even name her favorite Star Wars movie whenever she was asked to name one. So the fact that Patty Jenkins is straight up saying that they're going to take a great influence from games and the books. What other books could she be talking about other than Legends books like this one? Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron. I haven't read the book, but I've heard very good things, and she even mentions the author by name later on in the article. Let's check out some of the other ways that Star Wars is making Legends canon again. This article right here says Star Wars might make Luke Skywalker's wife canon again. This has been something that's been speculated very strongly on. It's been reported and speculated on very strongly. A lot of people think that this is happening, and I think it makes complete sense for it to happen, because there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of facts out there that point towards a Luke Skywalker series coming. It would make total sense if we saw Mara Jade just make a small appearance. I think that she is 100% coming into canon. A lot of other people think the same way, especially in the direction that we're going in right now. It seems like we're going in the Heir to the Empire direction. That's just what it seems like. So we're probably going to see Mara Jade, and Heir to the Empire itself is a Legend story that they're bringing back into canon. It just seems like so many things pointing in the direction of Legends becoming canon, or at least the good Legend stories becoming canon. And then we also had this a couple of months ago. Classic Star Wars books are getting re-released for Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary. Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire is back. So they're re-releasing all these old Legends books. They're pushing Legends content pretty hard, and they're doing this for two different reasons. One, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have told them that, look, this is what these people like. They like these true to Star Wars stories, not the stories that you've been telling. I'm sure they didn't say that, but they're telling them that we like these true to Star Wars stories. Let's start pushing this stuff. But not only should we push the old content, but we should adapt some of these things. We should bring them into the new content that we're making, because that's the type of stuff that these people will love, and they are dead on with that. Because this type of thing, all these Legends books, not all of them, but a lot of these Legends books, especially the ones that they're re-releasing, some of the fan favorites out there, these books stay true to the Star Wars that we know and love. These books stay true to the George Lucas Star Wars, to all the Star Wars that we grew up with, the Star Wars that we wanted to see in the sequel trilogy, and the Star Wars that we're beginning to see with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's Star Wars. They know what to do. So they're telling Kathleen Kennedy, they're telling the Disney people, they're telling the Lucasfilm higher ups, the people that oversee Lucasfilm, they're saying, look, this is what works. This is why The Mandalorian is so successful. Put this stuff out there, push this stuff to the fans, and not only are we going to push the old books, we're also going to adapt those books and put them into canon. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you think about Rogue Squadron adapting Legends content and greatly being influenced by Legends content? I really love that. I'm glad that Patty Jenkins is out there. Even knowing that Legends exists is a big plus for me, because I would assume that most Star Wars directors, most Star Wars writers out there don't even know that they exist. So that's a huge plus for me. That's a huge leg up on Leslie Headland for Patty Jenkins in my book. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about all these Legend stories becoming canon. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, but those links will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you on the next one.